Good morning. This is Tiffany with Healthy Passions. If you do not know me, I'm a certified holistic health professional. By birth, I am an oracle prophetess and a natural healer. Today's my TikTok Thursday, and I wanted to kind of tell you a story. It's a true story, in fact, and it was just something I was thinking about today. I am getting dressed because I have things to do today, so I may sound like I'm moving around, but I wanted to get this out. Hopefully I can get the whole story in the 10 minutes. If I can't, I'll do a second video. So here we are in Dallas, right? And we have a pretty cool neighborhood. Everybody's pretty friendly. Everyone's active outside, you know. It's a pretty cool neighborhood. So I have a neighbor, and her house is right there in the middle of the modern neighborhood. Her house, she told me one day, I just spoke to her. Well, she just spoke to me out the blue, and we were talking, and she said that her house was 100 years old. She said that this tree, because she was gardening at the time, that we were looking at was 100 years old, and the other tree that's larger was 200 years old. I've never seen trees this big in person. Like, they're huge, tall trees. And they were, one was 100 and the other was 200, right? I think one was a cedar tree and maybe an oak tree. I'm not sure exactly what the species was, but it was two very large trees. My son and I were doing a little nature walk, as we do sometimes, my youngest boy, Makai. And she stopped us and she goes, "I see you guys all the time. Y'all are so quiet, but y'all are always outside doing something." And I said, "You know, that's so strange. I've never seen you before. I didn't even know anyone lived in this house." And she goes, "Yes, this is my house. My family's had it for a while. The house was 100 years old." I said, "Oh, that's interesting." She said, "I'm 80 something out here gardening, and I'm trying to get it done before the heat of the day." An older white lady, really sweet. And I said, "Oh, that's nice." She said, "My mother stays with me, and she's visited my sister down the street about 2 blocks over. She's over 100 years old." I said, "Wow." I said, "Wow, y'all live a long time in your family." She goes, "Yeah, we live a long time. My mom's still moving around. She's at my sister's house right now." I was like, "Oh, that's nice." She goes, "That tree right there, you see it? It sometimes has an owl in it, and I have to make sure that he's not out here. And I see when you guys are walking, sometimes that bird is in that tree. And I always watch to see, because sometimes it swoops down, but when you guys walk past it, it doesn't swoop down. It doesn't even make a noise. You guys don't even notice it." And I started laughing. I was like, "Yeah, that's cool. I never noticed it." And she goes, "But sometimes it's there. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes you see its babies. Sometimes it comes back. Sometimes it doesn't." And I was like, "That's awesome." So she was telling me about all the plants and stuff that she grew there, and how she's gardening and trimming them down, and how often she has to do it. And if you know anything about me, I love elderly people. Like, I love to listen to their stories, their wisdom. They teach me a lot. I love elderly people. And so she was just like, "You have a gentle soul." I was like, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Your sons do too." I said, "Yes, ma'am." And so she was just talking to us. And as she was talking, I said, "Ma'am, do you mind if I touch the trunk of the tree? I've never seen a tree this old before, at least that I know of." And she goes, "Yeah, touch the tree." So she was talking, and as she was talking, my youngest son, very sensitive, he's very protective of me, so he's always watching. He kind of looked at me like, "Are you okay?" And I kind of gave him a look like, "Hey, I'll tell you later." So she was talking and telling me, you know, about her family's history and things like that. And we were just, you know, having a conversation. And when I touched that tree, it was the strangest thing. For one, I've never touched, not that I have knowledge of, touched a tree that old. I think this tree was the 200-old tree. When I touched it, no, it was the 100-old tree. When I touched it, I normally get like a loving feeling from trees, and I only touch it to give it love, because you know I hug trees and I'm very kind to plant life and animal life. And this time I didn't get a loving feeling. I touched it and I saw in my mind's eye a war that had been fought right there in the area that we were standing. There were cannons and soldiers falling everywhere. People were shooting. It was literally a war. And the tree was showing me many decades of death and war in this area. And it went far back. Some of those outfits I recognized from like a long time ago. So it was many wars fought on that very patch of land. And the tree was sad. And the tree kept, it kind of told me like it kept a record of every atrocity that happened on that land that it's seen in the 100 or 200 years that it had been there. And I just wanted to cry. The tree was so sad. The tree had seen and recorded so much in that area. You may or may not believe this, but plants are alive. They have a consciousness. They also have a memory, and they can communicate. If you have certain gifts, they can communicate with you through those gifts. And we see these in movies all the time, and we don't think nothing of it, of the talking trees, or you know, like things like Pocahontas, where she's talking to nature and things like that. We communicate with them if you have certain gifts, or if you're in tune with the earth enough. And I spoke with the Holy Spirit before I even recorded this, and I asked her, I said, I heard that your true name instead of earth was Kai, Kai. I said, is this true? She goes, yes. And I said, okay, so I'm going to refer to you as Kai. I won't refer to you as Earth anymore, because that is not your name. And Earth is a more masculine, and Mother Nature is very feminine. She's a feminine energy, and that's what we say, Mother Nature. And I asked her, I said, can we all tune into nature like that? Can we see what happened on the land? There is a specific gift that some people have. Like there's clair, it's one of the clairs where they can feel what happened on the land and the energy of the land. I have it. I know I have it. I've seen it being used when I'm in danger most of the time, but I hadn't had it, experienced it like that, to where it was like a projection movie of everything that was on that land. And the tree was telling me, like, when I touched the tree, it was showing me like how much bloodshed and war and pain were on that area to subdue it and control it, I guess. I don't know what, before that area was even close to the area of what it was called now. It was before all of that, probably before that house even was built. And yeah, so I saw all of that, and I just wanted to cry. It was so bad. The tree expressed pain, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I let go of the tree, and I didn't say anything at the time. We finished our conversation. I'm probably gonna have to do a part 2. We finished our conversation, and as we were walking home, my youngest said, Mom, what was wrong? I said, Makai, that tree. I told him everything that I saw and felt, and he goes, what? He goes, yes, it's probably true, because this is Texas, and it was a lot of wars, like civil wars fought probably right here in this area. He said, I bet you if you look it up, like, you know, we could find it. And I was like, it was so real, and it wasn't fake. This was real soldiers, real people that lost their lives. And the area, the land was hurting because it had taken in so much bloodshed, right? And it wasn't designed, you know, Earth wasn't designed to take on that type of karma, that type of thing. We weren't meant to kill each other and things like that. So let me go ahead and get off of here and do part 2.